Good day, viewers. Once again, I'm happy to meet with you through our online platform. I'll be taking you deflation, and the subject is economics. So deflation, like we have on the board. So the last class, if you were represented, we talked about inflation, and now we want to look at deflation. Deflation is, as a matter of fact, the opposite of inflation. Just like when you have demand and you have supply. Now this is deflation, and also have what? Inflation. Now what is deflation? Deflation can simply be defined as the continuous and the persistent fall in the prices of goods and services. So that continuous and persistent fall in the prices of goods and services is known or referred to as deflation. Is that clear? Now let's look at the causes of deflation. Budget surplus. Budget surplus is when the money generated by the government is greater than its expenditure. So when governments generate a lot of revenue, what do? They deposit it in the bank until when it is needed. So it is not in circulation. So there is no need of saying that because government has generated so much revenue that they are already experiencing inflation. This is what we call the excess cash, what we call in Nigeria crude account, excess crude account. So the money, that means there was so much money that was made during the period of boom and was kept somewhere for the rainy day. So you refer to as the surplus budget as a budget where the anticipated revenue of the government is greater than the proposed expenditure. Increase in bank rates. Increase in bank rates is another cause of deflation. If there's an increase in the bank rate, what happens? It will discourage people from borrowing from the bank. And when people are not borrowing from the bank, what's happening to the amount of money in circulation? It's reduced. So one of the causes of deflation is when the bank authorities decide to increase the amount of rate in which they give to consumers, thereby discouraging the consumers from borrowing from the bank, which leads consequently to a reduction of money in circulation. 3. Increase in production. Then we have increase in tax. Now, if there's an increase in production, what happens to the price of the commodity? Correct. Of course, the price of the commodity will fall. Why? Because there's excess supply of the commodity. We did that in inflation. When there's excess supply of the commodity, you realize that the price will fall. So that is what increase in production causes. When there's excess in the production of goods and services, you observe that the price of the commodity tends to fall. And the next one is what? Increase in tax rate. When you increase the tax on income, what happens when there's an increase in the tax on income? You observe that there will be less money to spend. And that money that is left is called your disposable income. So increase in tax rates will lead to less money to spend, and that can lead to deflation. So we'll go straight to the word effects of deflation. Effects of deflation. Now, one of the effects of deflation is that there's going to be a decline in profits. Unlike the inflation where there was an increase in profit, in inflation there will be a decline in profits. Why? Because there's less money in circulation, there's less economic activity, there's so many things that is less. So there's going to be a decline in production. So in profit rather, there's going to be a decline in profit. So that's one of the effects of deflation. Then number 2, apart from the decline in profit, let's write that we have decline in profits. You also have to be a decline in the tax yield. Decline in tax yield. I told you that tax yield is the amount that you pay to the government. That money that you pay to the government in form of tax is called tax yield. So there will be a decline. Why? Because you just observe that there's less economic activity. So there will be a decline in tax yield. Then it results in unemployment. It results in unemployment. Of course, because there will be less economic activity, so people will not be gainfully employed. So there will be a decline in, it will be a result in what? Unemployment. Then number 4, there will be a fall in the price of goods and services. Fall in the price of goods and services. They also have reduction in investments. Then you also have what? The creditors gain. So let's start with the one fall in the price of goods and services. Now during deflation, there's usually a fall. Why? You observe here that the price of goods and services is below, which is a nice one. I like that one. I really like it as well. So that's what happens during inflation. There will be a fall in the price of goods and services. There will be a reduction in investment. I don't like this one. I know you don't like that one too. But that's the real part. So there will be a reduction in investments, and people will not want to invest because their profit margin will be drastically reduced. And creditors gain. There's value for the creditors' money. When you borrow somebody, you lend money to somebody, there's no fear that the price of the commodity will increase, and thereby devaluing the money that you have given to the person, making you lose. So you observe that during one of the effects here is that the creditor still gains. Then number 7, it encourages savings. It also increases the value of money. Yeah, it encourages savings, okay? You realize that during this, you are not afraid to save because, I said something about store of values when I was stating inflation. So it encourages savings. You can save, and also increases the value of money. The value of money it has a steady rise. There's a steady increase. So it increases the value of money. Okay. So those are the effects of deflation. Now let's look at the control of deflation. Control of deflation. We have reduction in taxation. We have 2, use of deficit budgets. We have 3, increase in income. We have increase in income. Now let's start with number 1, which is what? Reduction in taxation. When there's a reduction in taxation, what happens? You have increase in your income. So you are controlling the deflation. A situation where there's reduction in taxation, it means that you have more money to spend, and it means that you have increase in money in circulation. There's more money in circulation. Then number 3, the use of deficit budget. I told you that deficit budget is when the anticipated expenditure of the government is greater than its expected revenue. So in this case now, when the anticipated revenue is less than the expected expenditure, what happens? It means that the expenditure is greater than the revenue, and you can use that one to control in deflation. So one of the ways you can control deflation is spend more. When the government decides to spend more, just spend more. So you refer to that as what? Deflation, or the control of deflation. Now that way you can control deflation is by increasing income. Just keep on increasing the income because you deliberately want to cause control in deflation. Just increase the income of I think that was in 1980 where there was increase in income. Eventually everybody, and that was the beginning of inflation in Nigeria. Everybody's income was increased, and as much people that was available in civil service then, and that was the beginning of inflation in Nigeria. So that some time ago in the 60s, I learned that Nigeria's currency was at par with the dollar. Nigeria's naira was at par with dollar. But now, if you understand what I'm saying, that the Nigerian currency is not in any ways near the dollar. That is, we have a crash, a decline in our currency value. So that's what inflation and deflation can cause. Then number 4, use of open market operation. The use of open market operation. I explained that during inflation. When you say open market operation, just the way in which government can use, the central bank can control, influence the commercial bank through different means. They can use open market operation, they can decide to buy treasury. But in this case now, there's deflation. And the central bank wants to control the deflation. What would the central bank do? Would they buy treasury bill from if they are buying treasury bill from the commercial bank, it means the commercial banks are selling. That means there's no longer money in the tills of the commercial bank. So in this case now, what will the commercial bank do? It means that the central bank will now sell to the commercial bank, and when I said there will now be more money in the bank, and there will be more people to come and come and borrow money in the bank. So you observe that the central bank can decide to use these different measures to either increase the amount of money in circulation or decrease the amount of money in circulation by buying and selling. Very, very easy. So if they decide to, if you look at the 100 naira note now, you saw the way the old 100 naira note just came out of circulation. They allowed the two of them to be used simultaneously at the same time. But each time you take money to the bank, they will not give you that 100 naira note again. They will give you the new 100 naira note, silently taking away the 100 naira. So the little ones that we still have in circulation are just, some people just to hide money in the ground. I hope rats will not eat it for them one day. So those are the control of deflation. So I want to believe that you can effectively do all these things. Next time you should be able to know what deflation is all about, the causes of deflation, the effects of deflation, and the control of deflation. So in the next class, hopefully we'll meet and we'll discuss more. So thank you very much. Have a nice day.